you for coming. I know it is difficult to come to a session right after lunch, but I'm going to try to do my best to keep you awake. and so we are SquareML. Machine learning in a box is what we call ourselves. It's a no-code SaaS software platform, and it's domain agnostic, but we've been focused more on healthcare the last few months. And again, we are an AWS partner and NVIDIA Inception. We're in the NVIDIA Inception program. And just a little bit about us. We are out of New Jersey, and we're a subsidiary of a company called Civisoft. And we have a pretty good solutions team. In most cases, in deploying a solution in machine learning, you need a good team to support you. And we have a very strong team of healthcare domain experts, including people with PhD in data science and also practitioners in healthcare field. And most of us already know the challenges in healthcare industry. Heaps of unstructured data. The big problem of healthcare field is about 80% of the medical data remains unstructured and untapped after it's created. There are text and images and so on, right? And again, integration and privacy challenges. 91% of healthcare insiders see artificial intelligence boosting access to care, but 75% believe it could threaten the security and privacy of patient data, right? And again, data capture and integration. Healthcare's unique data challenges start with capturing of clean and non-redundant data, useful for analysis. The focus of an integrated system has undeniably been desired, but ultimately slow to develop enthusiastic support. I've been working in multiple domains, manufacturing, banking, and so on and so forth, but healthcare seems to be a lot more challenging in terms of data. And there are quite a few places where when we talk to them, data is not organized enough, right? But again, producing perfect insights at the point of decision making, the need for data availability in real time to provide meaningful and meaning to clinical decision support is very critical in providing timely care for patients. Reducing cost while improving care. That seems to be the mantra for most of the providers, right? Identification, classification, and management of high-risk patients should be the focus in the improvement of quality and cost of healthcare, right? And what do we do in healthcare, right? We provide machine learning and IoT technologies in healthcare, and our solution is around providers and payers in the healthcare arena right now. And in terms of the provider, population-based and individual real-time risk stratification to provide better care and manage cost. Some of the driving factors have been federal mandate for updates to HIE. These are all driving most of the providers to have some sort of machine learning and AI capabilities, right? And again, digitalization and digitization after COVID has become a very, has been in a fast-paced mode right now. And again, 360-degree view of a patient. Patient data in most of the organizations are in disparate systems, right? And might not even be with them, right? And again, from the payer perspective, healthcare data, one of the things that we're doing is doing data aggregation, normalization, digitization, deduplications, summarization, and presenting it in a form where it's easy to analyze. And I have a couple of slides on that. I'll talk about it. Support underwriting, these are things that we do. What can customers get out of SquareML? Right? Some of the, again, the platform is configurable as well as customizable. Again, some of the things that you can get out of it are identify and predict utilizations, increase RAF score, remote patient monitoring, wearables adherence, medication adherence, coding error reduction, increase participation. Right? these are some of the things that you can get and more. And again, it depends on what you're looking for in a machine learning platform, right? And what makes us different? Accelerate time to value with SquareML AI. Somebody was asking me just a little while back, with a product like this, when can you get to see some real value, right? It could be 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, right? And because the product is no code and customizable, right? And we have ready to deploy ML models, a domain agnostic platform, powerful AI, ML, NLP services, no code, roles based, multiple data source integration. It has data isolation and again, data security and all of that built in. And again, the healthcare solutions, what is our value proposition? One is data integration, multiple data sources, NLP, OCR, image analysis. So if you have data in unstructured format, you can bring the data in, you can do your data wrangling in the platform, then you can have your insight managers, you can understand the social context, meaning, risk scoring, and again, predictive analytics, utilization analytics, chronic disease analytics, adherence rates, and so on. Reports with visualization. So you can go up all the way up the value chain with a product with pretty, I would say with a lot of ease compared to many of the other products that we see, right? And what kind of healthcare solutions have we created? And some of them are multiple data source integration that I talked to you about, patient journey. As we connect with EMR or EHR, one of the first things that we do is provide a patient journey. So you can start looking at data in terms of the timeline, in terms of when, all their interventions, all their medications, and again, we use NLP. We have NLP capabilities in the product, patient health risk stratification, and predictive health analytic models, handwritten notes, prescriptions, image analysis. These are things that we can do. And the way that we do it is we have a 3-layered platform, and the top layer is the analytics platform, which can run supervised, unsupervised deep learning models. And beneath that is an event orchestration platform, because you might get data from multiple sources, and you might have to, you might also get streaming data from your wearables, or it could be even from your medical devices as the data is coming in. One of the things you might want to do is to consolidate the data and apply rules on it, and based on your conditional based monitoring, we can then take actions, label your data, or if you want to do some notifications, you could do notifications. So that's a mid-tier layer. And the one beneath that is our IoT capability, where you can have your wearables connect to a mobile platform or software that's on your notepad or things of the nature, and that data can then be pushed to our event orchestration platform. And you can also push information back to the mobile platform, where if you have patients and you want to remind them of medications, or if you want to send them some educational material, or you want to send them surveys, some of those capabilities are all there in our mobile platform. So it's an end-to-end capability where the top layer looks at all of your data, does the machine learning abilities, right? And I'm going to talk to you about customer experience using SquareML, one of our major adult care organizations in New York, and how do they use it, right? And this is their slide from one of their decks saying what they were able to accomplish after using SquareML in about, I would say, less than 60 days, right? And once they were able to deploy our product on top of their EMR, they were able to start looking at information such as their hospitalization rate, which they did not have an idea about, right? And they were able to then see that their hospitalization rates compared to the industry were all, they were performing much better, right? The industry rate is about 500, they were at about 305. Some of the things that they were not able to express from what they had before, right? Once they had software like ours, I mean, they were able to then express those things, right? 82.9% adherence in terms of their device usages at the homes, right? And they estimate a savings of about 5.8 million, right? And That is, okay, and then what did we do for them, right? Like I said, we dropped our application on top of their EMR, and we were able to ingest their data and provide a patient journey so they can now understand their patient population, each patient's journey in terms of their medications, in terms of, like I said, the interventions and all of that, and then be able to stratify the patients, right? And I'll show you another slide on stratification, but then also be able to look at charts, dashboards, provide their nurses, social workers, and their PCPs in terms of what the patient information, right? And in terms of patient health risk stratification, what we do is once we ingest the data, we are able to pull clinical components out of it, then demographic data, biometric and diagnosis data, ICD codes and vitals and comorbidities, social determinants of health, medications, hospitalization information. We are able to run them all through an algorithm and then stratify them as low risk, medium risk, and high risk based relative to their population. That way, some of the things that they can then do is make sure that they have the sufficient skill, nurses or doctors, to be able to manage their patients, right? And also create policies around it as to how to, with a minimal number of resources that they have, how do you manage your patients better, right? So those are some of the things that they're able to do now using the risk stratification, right? And another thing that we have done is be able to provide analytics on top of it using some of the machine learning models in terms of fall prevention, length of stay, and when will a patient get, when will they get hospitalized next, diabetes, stroke, and most of these are self-serviceable, and again, if you have a team of data scientists, they can actually use the application to develop any kind of analytics that you want. You can do patient analytics, provider analytics, payer analytics, medication analytics, condition analytics, any of those things, right? And we also are working with another major records aggregator who takes patient data from multiple sources, aggregates them, and then provides that to insurance companies. But they're all in PDFs, right? About 300, 500, 800 pages, 1,000 pages of PDF files that they pass on to insurance companies. And what we do is we take those PDF or XML or even scan paper pages with just scans, and we run OCR and a bunch of other technologies and parse the data, push the data into our platform, and then do the data de-identification, deduplication, and once we do that, then we are able to summarize them and also provide analytics and predictions on top of that. So it makes it easier for an underwriter to be able to see the analytics and then make the decisions in terms of underwriting patients, right? Claims and so on, right? And these are the steps that we go through in terms of we get input from PDF, XML, and multiple sources, and these are all large files, and again, thousands of documents a day, right? And they run through our platform, and we run the NLP medical to be able to pick the data from those documents and then structure the data. Right? And we also have created a diabetes registry using the same platform for one of the islands in the Caribbean, and we've also created, we have digitalized health records for country of St. Vincent and Grenadines in the Caribbean, where, I mean, they had about 30 to 40 forms that they fill at each of the clinics, and about 30, 40 clinics. We took all of them, and within about 60 days, digitalized the forms. And that data then comes into a platform, and then we do the analytics, right? So it's a pretty simple and easy platform to be able to get to a point where you're able to digitalize, and then be able to look at the analytics in your population, right? And the product has a visualizer within the application where you can create insights, univariate, multivariate insights. you can pin them, you can label them, you can take notes on them, then you can share them among people within your organization. And the product is, like I said, an enterprise product where you can have organizations within, defined within the application, and you can have multiple departments within organizations. And you can also have people within those different roles of people. And each of them you can assign data to be used only, you can have data isolation in there. Right? You can also, like I said, create models, hypertune them, pickle them, and use them on a continuous basis. Of course, you can create dashboards and so on. And some of the analytics that you'll be able to see or you'll be able to create are network cluster analysis, network charts, network graphs, right? And violin plots, pay plots, and so on. You can do it with pretty ease. And again, the advantage of a product like this compared to a Tableau or whatever, I mean, you can do this end to end, right? End to end within one platform with no code, right? And you can have your scatter plots, pay plots, and you can again do your predictive models, right? You can have classification models, you can have your regression models, and these are some of the capabilities of the product that you could use and pretty easy to use, right? And that's all I had. And thank you so much. Thank you for listening.